Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Turtles Love Pizza. This is the podcast where we go over everything to do with the Ninja Turtles, whether it be movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, comic books, whatever it is, we talk about it. But right now, we are on a hiatus from the Ninja Turtles, and we are currently doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers since we just finished the collaboration between the Ninja Turtles and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is Steven.
This is Andrew.
What's up, Andrew?
What's up, Steven?
Not much. But before we begin, you guys know what we normally do. Andrew, what came in this week for you?
My pile of loot come in from Big Bad Toys, which was awesome. And I sent you a picture, and I can't remember what was in it. What was in it? Oh, so I got my Spidey Gwen from Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Ham. I got Xanatos in his gargoyle form from Gargoyles. What else did I get? I got
Last Ronin.
I got a Last Ronin statue from Diamond Toys, and then a Foot Enforcer, and I got a Lisa Mazza, and I got the Red Turbo Ranger.
Awesome. And out of the bunch, like, which is the one that you were most anticipating?
Probably the Spider-Gwen, because I pre-ordered that like a long time ago. And
this is based on the most recent movie? Oh no, this is
the first one, Into the Spider-Verse. So the only one I am missing now is Spider-Man Noir.
Oh, is it out?
It is pre-ordered, and I think it gets released next year sometime.
Oh wow, why are they so backwards? I mean, like, Across the Spider-Verse is already out.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while to make these toys, man.
Oh, okay, all right. And I'm looking at this Last Ronin gallery diorama. This one looks pretty dope. What's so special about this one?
This one, I mean, it's just one of the statues that they have out there.
Does it have like the base?
Yeah, it has a base and everything. It's not a figure; it's a statue. So.
Oh, okay. So this is all from Big Bad Toys?
Yep, Big Bad Toys.
Awesome. And you had everything pre-ordered and shipped for $4?
$4.99.
Oh, $4.99. So, as mentioned before, we are on a Ninja Turtle hiatus, coming back, I believe, next episode. But for this episode, we have a very special episode about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We will be talking about two things. Originally, we were only going to talk about one, but we decided to do two things. The first thing that we will be discussing is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the 30th anniversary special Boom Studios comic book, issue number 1. I have a really cool variant cover by Dan Mora. There are 6 stories that we're going to kind of talk about. We're not going to go into every single one of them. But Andrew, since you are you normally do all the summations of the stories, I don't want to go into every story right now. Why don't you just tell me what your favorite story was and why?
Favorite story out of all of these was probably the Wedding Vows one.
Okay, why?
So, I mean, that was just kind of cool to see Tommy use the Master Morpher and like just the tale of like him and Kat's relationship. And so, yeah, I thought that was a really cool one, and it was a lot of fun. The second place would probably go to Ode to Ernie. I feel like Ernie does not get enough respect when it comes to the Power Rangers, and Alpha Directive was also really good.
So overall, out of all the stories, I mean, would you say that you liked the entire issue, or were some of them a little more lackluster than others?
I would say the only one I didn't like was Office Hours.
Okay, explain. Well, let me go through Office Hours really quick. This is the story where Billy is trying to tutor a new Blue Ranger or something like that, right?
Or a new Power Ranger in training.
A new Power Ranger, right? And basically, he's just trying to give her advice and how to have a work-life balance and things like that, right?
No.
Go for it. What's the story about?
Okay, so it's set after like the events of like the core Power Ranger stuff. Like he's like a professor now at looks like some college, and this random guy just pops up on his screen and asks him to kind of just speak to someone that is a ranger in training. And so he kind of just talks through how to be a ranger and like how it's not just all about kind of fighting and stuff like that. And yeah,
Yeah.
and he has some apprehension about being a teacher and things like that, and he enjoys the process. It's basically like it's like a side story into Ranger Academy, which is a comic book apparently that's like
Right.
a more all for ages one. So
Hmm.
that was interesting. But yeah, it was all talking, no action, no real
Yeah.
story, unless you know, like, I guess the Ranger Academy story, which I don't. So for me, like, I had
Yeah.
no connection to this one at all.
So basically, it's like a mentorship program for the
So
next
the
gen.
academy is to train rangers, and yeah, being asked to be a mentor.
Got it. Yeah. Work-life balance. Exactly what I said.
That's not work life balance at all. Do you even know? No wonder you have no work life balance because you don't even know what the definition is.
But okay, so let me get into the ones that I kind of really liked. Ode to Ernie and Wedding Vows. I completely agree with you. I really enjoyed those. And I think those were my favorites. Ode to Ernie and Wedding Vows. I thought Alpha Directive was also really fun. So if I were to order it, I would actually do Ode to Ernie, Wedding Vows, and Alpha Directive. And I think they put it in a very good order of enjoyment.
Yeah, they
Like
really buried themselves towards the end.
yeah, I know. So like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Reimagine story, that one is interesting because it's also written by Amy Jo Johnson, who used to be the Pink Ranger Kimberly.
Yeah, she was the original Pink Ranger.
But I thought it was really weird because like their names keep changing or whatever.
What are you
So
talking?
is her name now Emma, or is that just a different Pink Ranger is now Emma?
I think she's like hiding her identity for some reason.
Yeah, it's just really confusing. And then the one thing about Wedding Vows that I was super confused about because I haven't been following Power Rangers since like season 2 is I didn't even know there was another Pink Ranger and I didn't even know Tommy was in love with that other Pink Ranger. So I was like, "Oh, is this girl also Kimberly? She just changed her name?" Nope.
No. So Kat is from Australia, and she takes over the Pink Power Rangers powers in Mighty
Mhm.
Morphin towards the
Yeah.
end. And yeah, so in the continuity of Power Rangers, there's like a Christmas special episode where like they're old and Kat and Tommy
Mhm.
are married and they have like kids and stuff like that. So that's why in the comic book they're like married because like
Ah,
it
I
actually
see.
happened in the show.
Okay, and so yeah, I was super confused. I remember just texting you, "Hey, dude, what is up with this blonde girl? Who is she? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah, and so that's why I said we
So,
should probably discuss this one before we get into the movie because in the movie she keeps referencing JJ, who we talk about in this comic book, who is Tommy and Kat's son.
I didn't even get that. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so I read this a while back. That's why when I was explaining office hours, I obviously didn't know what I was talking about.
yeah, and so that's why Reimagine is interesting because in that storyline, Kimberly, Zach, Trini, and Jason don't
Hmm.
quit being Power Rangers. Like they stay
Yeah.
the core Rangers, and then you don't have like Aisha, Kat, Adam, and Rocky coming in.
Oh yeah, it's really confusing. But
So that's why you
let's go
see, like,
back to
you
the
imagine Kimberly and Tommy get married.
See, there you go. I'm like, what the what's going on? So is it an alternate universe?
Yeah, it's an alternate universe. It's like a new comic book that Amy Jo Johnson started of like an alternate timeline of Power Rangers. So basically, if they hadn't had that weird thing where they kicked them out of nowhere on the TV show, and like they
Uh-huh.
had just all like I guess negotiated contracts together and stayed on as the original Power Rangers, then
Yeah.
maybe this would have is what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Because it really didn't make sense that they're
Okay.
gonna like go off to like Switzerland and then they're gonna just stop being rangers because it's like you can teleport. That's like the easiest like thing. Like, you can literally teleport anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then overall, all the art is great. I
Oh yeah,
enjoyed
art is
everything.
great. The What Time Is It was like a nice throwback kind of episode.
Yeah, where they have like all these splash pages of it's morphin time, go Power Rangers.
Oh no, that happens after What Time Is It? What Time
Oh,
Is It
that's
is when
after.
they're doing the like in the fighting in the mist.
Oh, right. But what I mean is, oh, I thought that was all one story.
No.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I was really confused and I was trying to match the artist with the splash pages, but okay, anyways. So, really quick. Ode to Ernie. What did you like about it? Yeah, what did you like about that one?
I just like that they gave kind of Ernie his due. Unfortunately, the actor that played Ernie passed away like in 2008, so he
Oh,
didn't really
wow.
get to be able to be involved as
Mhm.
much with all that. And then I think they even dedicated it to him at some point, like that the Ode to Ernie comic book.
Yeah, it says for Richard at the very end.
Yeah, for Richard. So yeah, which is like just this nice sentiment of like,
Yes.
yeah, like why did this guy keep this youth center open when it keeps getting attacked by like putties and monsters, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, just the fact that he's like proud of his establishment and he's able to kind of keep his dream alive. So yeah, it was cool.
And it definitely helps that the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers go to this place consistently, which they
Yes,
tell him.
yeah, and like they do fundraisers for him apparently, so they won't miss
And
movies.
yeah, I definitely think it's a heartwarming story. And that one is illustrated by Eleonora Carlini, written by Ryan Perot or Parrot. And
Yeah,
then Wedding Vows. Now I really like this art. This art is by Henry Prasecha, and it's written by Melissa Flores. And like I mentioned, I didn't even know about this cat person until you notified me. And it's just the art is really great. Cat looks beautiful in her wedding dress. Her name's Cat, right?
yeah, Cat.
Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't ruin it. It's just a really heartwarming story about how love gets you through things and how it drives you forward as well. And it gives you something to fight for.
Yeah,
And next up, we have the Alpha Directive. What I like about this is it's they kind of have free will. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they're like a really sophisticated AI system where one dies, the other one is kind of implanted with the memories, and they kind of talk to each other and build each other's AI back up, and they can decide what they want to do as alphas, right?
yeah,
And then, as mentioned before, the remaining are kind of they're there, they're fun, but they're not really they don't really stand out like the previous ones. Would you
yeah.
agree? So overall, how many morphers would you give this issue?
I'd give it a 4.
Okay. All right, that's pretty high. I would give it about a 3.
You give it about
I
a 3.
enjoyed it. Yeah, here's the thing. I enjoyed it, but I had so many questions because I don't know enough about the lore, so I had to ask you, right?
Yeah,
So I think if it's someone coming into it like not knowing enough, past season 2 or 3, there's a little bit of a learning curve there.
yeah. Because yeah, so I gave this more of a high 3, but I would
Hmm.
round it up to a 4. And then
Yeah.
there's a lot of like Easter eggs if you don't know like the comics, like even like with the Alpha Directive, they kind of hint at Alpha One
Hmm.
because Alpha One actually is a bad guy.
Was it really?
Yeah, Alpha One is like this bad guy in the comics, and like there's a whole backstory to him.
And
So
did you know that prior, or you
yeah,
looked
I
that
knew
up
that
later?
prior.
Oh, you did. You looked it up.
Well, I knew just because like my brother would tell me about the Power Ranger comics and stuff like that. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, so I knew
Okay.
some of the history of the comics and the backstory of things, and like I've seen most of the Power Ranger episodes, like the first I don't know, like through I think through SPD is when I stopped,
Uh huh.
um, which is a lot of what is covered here and what's covered in that movie that we watched, Once a Ranger. So like I know like the lore behind everything that's going on there too.
Okay.
It's like
Because.
yeah, because like in the alpha one, like you see like this Dark Spectre like fighting and all these people doing all this stuff, which
Hmm.
happens in the Power Rangers in space, and
Hmm.
then that's when Zordon sacrifices his life to like wipe out the evil energy from the universe and stuff
Hmm.
like that, which ties directly into that new movie.
Oh, no wonder I'm like, what the,
Yeah,
what happened to Zordon? Okay, all right. So Andrew gives this anthology a 4 morphers, and I give it a 3 morphers. It's a fun read. It's got great art. They're not all up to par, but they're all fun. I would say that they're enjoyable. But yeah, check out this issue. And next up, we go to our feature presentation, and that would be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once. Shoot, I forgot the title. Once and for all.
Once and always.
Once and always. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and always. But before we begin, Andrew, give us a plot description.
Plot description. So we come and we see that the Rangers are fighting Robo Rita, who is a robotic version of Rita Repulsa, their arch nemesis from the original series. As they're fighting, she tries to kill Billy, and then Trini saves his life. But instead, Trini dies. Then we find out that Trini had a daughter. And so Zach and Billy have to go break the news. And of course, they bumble it and kind of spill out that Rita Repulsa killed Trini. And so Trini's daughter Min, a year later, they're like going to go visit the gravesite. Robo Rita attacks again with the Snizzard and the Minotaur and captures Zach, Tommy, and Kimberly to like hatch like this plan of Rita's. And then Min's like all pissed off. She's like, I want to go kill Rita because she's like pure vengeance, right? It's kind of like a bad kung fu movie, really, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like her whole story arc is like a very bad kung fu movie. Anyways, so they go back to Cranston Technologies, which is like the new power, what's it called? Power Center? Command Center? Yeah, Command Center, which is hidden under, so it's like Billy's company.
Yeah.
And Zach is now Min's guardian because apparently Min has no other family for some reason. Like, I don't know what happened to her dad or her grandparents or anything like that, but they're all gone, which really sucks for Min. So then they have to like, we find out like why or how Robo Rita came back, and so Billy is trying to find Zordon because he believes he's still alive after the Z Wave went through. Once again, the Z Wave is in Power Rangers in space. In order to save everyone from this evil invasion, Zordon tells Andros, the Red Ranger for in space, to break his like little container and release his energy, and his energy will disperse throughout the universe and like destroy all evil, basically. And so he does it, and it happens. And whenever you watch it, you see that like Rita is changed into like a white dress, and she's like all good and happy, and so is Zed and like everyone else. So it's like it's really feel good ending, and it really kind of felt like the end of Power Rangers. If you watch that episode, it's a good one.
Oh, okay.
So, but basically, what Billy's trying to do is he's trying to find Zordon's energy from that wave because it's still echoing throughout the universe. But instead, he finds, I guess, Rita's evil energy, and then she takes over Alpha 8, I think, and then
something like that.
Robo Rita, and then that's how we have Alpha 9 now. And so, like, Billy's obviously like kicking himself for that. They come up with a plan to so Rita starts attacking everywhere. They do the Bandora protocol, which summons all the Power Rangers. So we get Kat coming back and Rocky, who are the Pink and Red Rangers after the originals.
Yeah.
And we also get a message from Aisha and Adam, who were the Yellow and the Black Rangers after the originals were gone.
Right. And they're from the movie. They're from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, and they're the ones that were in the movie. And then you see that they're on a spaceship because they're part of Space Patrol Alpha, which is so Space Patrol Delta is a later season of Power Rangers from like the original, and so this is like setting up like the lore of Space Patrol Delta with Space Patrol Alpha, basically. Because like Space Patrol Delta is like set in the future. Anyways, it's just like a little Easter egg, and so that's what they're doing, and why like and you like hear like the names of certain cities that exist like in other Power Rangers series, so it's kind of cool. So they get proxy power coins so that they can morph too, and then they go and hatch a plan to catch Minotaur and Snizzard, which they do in a junkyard with a big magnet. And then Min's all pissed off. She's like, y'all should have killed them. And of course, like that's not going to happen. And then they sneak off to like rescue the other Rangers, and Min sneaks off to like go kill people because once again, bad movie.
Yeah.
And Rita actually ends up capturing him and then they have a big battle on the moon where obviously the Rangers win and everyone's saved. And then I guess we end with Billy, Zach, and Min kind of celebrating at Ernie's, which is a nice little throwback.
Yeah.
And they start telling her stories about when they were Power Rangers. And it
Yeah.
ends with like my favorite part of the entire movie was like the end where they did that like kind of like the beginning sequence of Power Rangers, but like just showing them getting old. So
It wasn't. Oh, okay. It's not like when she's singing that song in remembrance.
oh no, I didn't care about that. That was like too cheesy for me.
Really quick, I'm gonna go back a little bit. So I don't think you mentioned it, but like Snizzard and Minotaur, they actually capture, what is it, 3 or 4 Rangers?
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Eh, Oh,
If
you
you were
did?
paying attention, you would have
I
heard it.
was, dude. I was totally listening. But you were bringing up all this other stuff. Okay. Let me bring up one more thing that you mentioned. You mentioned that Zordon told whoever to break his containment to release his
Yeah.
energy, right?
Hmm.
So here's my question. How come that didn't happen in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, when Lord Ooze, or what is the name?
Ivan Ooze.
Ooze, Ivan Ooze,
Ivan
when
Ooze.
he broke, yeah, when he broke Zordon's containment, why didn't his
Because
good energy?
the movie was
Yeah,
not continuity. There was no continuity with the movie and the series. Because if you,
that's
because
why.
like you see them like getting like their ninja powers, but they
Yeah,
just rehash that whole thing in the series and they do it a completely different way.
and it's better.
What?
I'm guessing,
Oh yeah,
like,
the Zords don't look as crabby.
because those Zords were terrible.
They're
Like
horrible
I couldn't.
CGI.
Yeah, I couldn't wait till they got like the Griffin and stuff. And one of the things that I liked about this one is it really very much is a throwback in
Yeah,
terms of the Zords coming out. I mean, let's be honest, when it morphs into the Megazord,
yeah.
it's complete CGI, but it is what it is, right?
It's just cheaper to do that nowadays.
Is it really though, man? You just put them in these suits and then they fight on like a moon, which is technically you could paint a freaking moon.
Maybe I don't know. Plus, like they don't have the suits anymore. Like it's like 30
Oh,
years since they had to use the suits, right?
yeah, but I want to see like what happens when the Megazord is rusted. Like-
All right, all right.
okay, so really quick, can you mention who else from? Oh, actually, no. You already mentioned all the new Rangers and all the old Rangers that came back.
Yeah.
So let's not worry about that. So okay, why don't we just get into the movie in general? Like, what did you like the most about it? What stood out to you?
It was very nostalgic. I really liked just the nostalgia of everything, even getting like Rita's like original voice back
Yeah.
in the series. Didn't like how angsty it was. Like
Mm.
it is just
Hmm.
so mean. Like especially when she's like, "Billy, it's all your fault. My mom's dead." I was like, "That's
Yeah.
so cold." Like that was like ridiculously just mean,
Yeah,
and
I totally get it. Yeah.
it was just awkward that like Jason, Tommy, and Kimberly are mentioned so much, but you never even like hear their voices or like anything from them. Which
Yeah.
like I guess behind the scenes, Amy Jo Johnson declined to be on this, and I think the others just decided not to be in this.
Yeah, I kind of wonder why. And like, I don't think she came out and said why, but she did say, "Hey, I'm writing this comic book," which we just
Well, it
reviewed. So,
sounded as if like they lowballed her an offer, and she was like, "It's not really worth it to like go out to New Zealand just for all this."
oh, they shot in New Zealand.
Yeah, because
Did they
basically, I
always?
guess
Was it originally shot there?
no, it was not originally shot there. They moved it out there like a long time ago, but
Oh,
they're no
okay,
longer going to
okay,
be shooting in New Zealand as of the next iteration of Power Rangers.
okay. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, like the original Red Ranger, he got arrested for some stuff, so I don't think they wanted him.
We're talking about Austin St. John, right?
Yeah, he got
Oh,
arrested for like
he
fraud or something like that.
dude. Right now, he's writing his own comic book and stuff. He created his own comic book company or something. So it's interesting.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and then
And
Jason David Frank was trying to get away from Power Rangers because his whole life was Power Rangers. So
Yeah.
he was trying to like do something, a little bit different. So,
Yeah,
but
he had his
unfortunately,
own what was it? It was like it wasn't
Legend of the
Kickstarter.
White
It was,
Dragon.
yeah, was that Indiegogo or something?
Yeah, it's still in production right now. It's supposed to come out next year.
Yeah, those costumes look pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
it's sad that he, passed away last like earlier this year actually.
Oh, last November. It's been a year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's almost been a year then.
Yeah, and Legend of the White Dragon also features like some ex like Power Ranger alum too. So
So, in terms of this story, I'm going to agree with you that Min is super annoying. And I remember watching this movie and I was texting Andrew as well and I was just like, "Wow, Billy's forehead is not moving at all." and then I mentioned that who's the actor that plays Zach? I got to say he has not aged a
Walter
day. Like
Jones.
Walter Jones, he is freaking like smooth as silk, dude. That guy is so cool. He even did like a freaking breakdance fight, and these are the kind of fights that I wanted to see, because
Yeah.
you felt like the putty were there. They were actually what is that tangible threat? They were a
Yeah.
tangible threat to each ranger, and even the Slizzard and Minotaur. I don't think they were. I don't remember. I feel like they were in suits. Like I felt like they were actually tangible
Yeah.
instead of the CGI nonsense that was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. But at the same time, I go back to your complaint, right? I definitely thought that Min wasn't a really bad kung fu movie. And no offense to say Bruce Lee, but yeah, if you watch The Big Boss, uh, you have this guy who swears not to get into kung fu fights, and all of a sudden his cousin's killed, and now he needs to have revenge on everyone. This is exactly kind of like that. Oh, my mother died. I'm gonna kill whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing that I wanted to mention, and Andrew, piggyback off of me if you find this interesting, but when they like shrink these people, they're literally putting action figures
Yep.
in the little containment suit, and then it drains their energy so that it can power Rita's time machine so that she could go back in time and tell her past self that what was it, like kill these guys first or something?
Yeah. Basically, like, kill them in their sleep when they're teenagers. So I
So
was reading some production notes, and those are
yeah,
actually the Lightning Collection figures. They just sealed up the joints, so you can't tell that they're the joints.
so they're like the super movable guys, right?
Yeah, they're literally the toy line that's out right now.
Oh,
Apparently,
okay.
Trini's death scene was actually supposed to be more explicit, but they decided to cut back out of respect for the actress actually having passed away in real life. So that was nice.
Yes, that's a good decision. But yeah. Oh, can you remind me of something? Like when did Billy get that flying car? Because it seemed reminiscent of something, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, the rad bug. So in the series, he had like a smaller, like an old V bug, VW
Hmm.
bug. That was called the rad bug. This is the rad bug 2. It's like an upgraded version of that one.
But is that anywhere near like season 3 or season 2?
Of Power Rangers, I think it happened in season 1 with the Green Ranger is when it got introduced.
Oh,
Remember, because they
okay,
couldn't
okay,
get into
okay.
the command center and they used the rad bug and like flew in there on it.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. As for the other players, I thought the guy who played Rocky, he's definitely a lot slower. Like in terms of movement, like you could tell, these guys they're aging, they're older. I get it. I get it. You try to do your best, so but other than that, fresh fresh fight scenes, those were the best. part of the show, the movie for me, other than seeing. No offense to Billy, but dude, Zach ripped it up. Walter Jones, just like he's so cool.
Yeah.
It just he's the one that brought energy to it, whereas Billy, I feel bad for Billy because he was saddled with all this angst of having all these side stories that he has all this guilt for everything that has happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of felt bad for him. And on top of that, I'll bring up Aisha and Adam.
Yeah.
I really wish that they actually had more to do because they're really cool too. And Aisha was a standout in the last movie,
Yeah.
and Adam was not the standout, and he still doesn't get anything to do in this movie. I don't get it. What do you think it is about the guy who plays Adam? What was his name?
Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah, what do you think about Johnny Young Bosch, where they're just like, no, it's okay. He's in a spacecraft. Like,
Well, I mean, because they wanted the focus really to be on the original Rangers, and
yeah.
then they just kind of brought in the guy that plays Rocky and the girl that plays Kat because they needed a red and a pink Ranger, since
Hmm.
I guess the originals turned down the offer or couldn't do it. So
Right.
yeah, because it was really
Okay.
supposed to be
Well,
focused on the original core Rangers.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense, and I think it's just weird seeing everyone a little older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is weird seeing them old.
But at the same time, that's what we do, right? We age, and yeah. Anyways, anything other than Min that you didn't like about the movie?
No, I mean, I feel like everything was a throwback in this movie, which was really cool. And then also
Yeah.
the CGI I didn't like, but other than that, it was good.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And overall, why don't we get into a little bit of the ratings then? In terms of power coins, how many would you give this film?
Honestly, 3.
We are on the same level. Yeah, I'm also giving it a 3. Although I had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
there are just some things that were keeping it back from that 4 or that 5. And I really think it's you said it perfectly. I think it was the dark nature of it
Yeah.
and Min.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really just felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Like it felt like it
Hmm.
wanted to grow up, but also didn't want to grow up. And so it was just kind of
Yeah.
caught in this weird nebulous kind of thing where it just got too dark and then back to like being super campy. Like it just didn't vibe well.
Yeah, like the tonality of the movie was kind of off.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, what would you say about the character who played Min, or the actress that played Min? Did you like her performance?
Oh
What
yeah,
what,
she
what?
did great. I mean, she did great for what was asked of her. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
sucks that they ended Power Rangers, so like she doesn't have anything else to do now. Like it kind of felt like, oh, maybe they could continue on and tell some stories with her, like maybe forming a new
Yeah.
Ranger team or something. But they've ended Power Rangers. From the last series that came out on Netflix was the ending of this line of Power Rangers. So they're
Oh.
expected to reboot Power Rangers with the next series that comes out sometime next year or the year after.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Wow.
And they're no longer going to
So.
use the Japanese Sentai footage, from what I was told or what I
Uh-huh.
read. And it's no longer going to be filmed in New Zealand.
Okay, that could be either really good or really bad because in
Yeah.
terms of not using the Japanese like fighters, I wonder what'll happen to the fight scenes and if they're going to start using more CGI. Oh.
Oh well, I mean
But
the Japanese series already went to that.
oh, they did?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
so
use a lot of CGI now.
but I mean, is it at least pretty good?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Well, I think that's that. Like we both give it a three star. And okay, so out of the two, which one did you enjoy more, the movie or the comic book?
I think I probably enjoyed the comic book more.
And why is that?
It like allows you to kind of preserve like those memories you had as a kid in it,
Hmm.
instead of like seeing the harsh reality of growing up and seeing like how old they are.
Yeah.
I mean, and like some of them aged really well. Like I think like Walter Jones aged really well.
Yeah.
Whoever plays Cat, she aged pretty well. Like I've met her in person. She looks really good for her age.
Hmm.
And Johnny Young Bosch always looks cool.
Yeah, I just really feel bad for him because they're just like, you know, this we don't know what to do with this guy. I don't remember. Okay, really quick. In the series, when he joins the cast, was he used often? Do you remember?
Who?
Johnny Bosch.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I mean, what did he have episodes centered around him like they used to do? Like, at least get one episode centered around each ranger. Did he at least get like one like that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So it's not his acting ability then, right?
No, like I told you before, like this is meant to focus on the core original Power Rangers.
I understand that. I'm just saying they did the same crap in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, and you know that guy wanted to do something special in that movie, but he got saddled to the side. That's all I mean.
He's Asian, so it happens to us all.
anyways. Okay, so this is the end of us doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for a little bit because they do have a TMNT Mighty Morphin Power Rangers crossover
2.
part 2,
Yep.
but we won't do that till a little later. So next up on our calendar, we're actually going to jump back to the original Peter and Laird. I mean, not Peter and Laird, but Eastman and Laird original comic books. The next episode we're going to be doing will be going over issue number 1 of the original comic book. And for now, Andrew, are we going to do Rise of the TMNT season 2 episode 1?
We can try.
All right, let's just try then. So, guys, tune in next time and read the first issue of the original Eastman and Laird, issue number 1, and watch Rise of the TMNT on Paramount Plus. Whatever the first episode is, we'll do that one. And we will talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
See ya.